Welcome in and thanks for joining us for the first edition of Garden Talk. My name is Scott Hardy and today we're at New Water Farms in Davil, Alabama, as we're joined by our newest columnist for Lake Martin Living and the featured individual for this segment, Miss Sydney Hancock. Sydney, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So again, you are the farm manager here at New Water, but outside of that, can you just give us a little insight as to your interest level and how you ended up here at New Water itself?
Definitely. So I went to school at Benjamin Russell High School in Alexander City. So I'm a Lake native here. After graduation, I went on to Auburn and got a horticulture degree with a concentration on fruit and vegetable production. I actually did an internship here while I was still in school, and after graduation, I came on as manager. So I've been here for 2 years now.
Okay, and as we said, you are the farm manager here at New Water, which is not only has a farm on it, but it's also a ministry as well. But could you just give us some insight as to exactly what your role entails here?
Definitely. So as farm manager, I take care of all of the fruit commodities and vegetable gardens that we have on the property. We've got everything from apples and pears to blackberries and blueberries. We even have Asian persimmons. We have had a vegetable program going where we send out weekly baskets of vegetables to local families, and we even do school field trips.
Cool. So that's very exciting. And you mentioned blackberries, and that will be the topic of this month's segment, as well as what your column was related to as well. So why don't we go ahead and tell us a little bit about some of your blackberries here?
Definitely. Here at New Water, we use a trellising system called TPUPS, which stands for Trellis Production Using Primocane Suppression. We train our canes to 2 wires, one set at 5 feet and the other at 3 feet. This system was developed by Dr. Arlie Powell from Petals from the Past, and we use this system because it allows for really great airflow in between the plants, and then it's really easy to come through and harvest the fruit off of the vines. Blackberries are biennial perennial plants. The perennial part of the plant is made up of the crown at the base of the plant. It grows to be about 6 years old. The biennial part of the plant is made up of the canes. These only grow for 2 years. The first year canes are called primocanes, and they only grow vegetatively, so they won't produce any flowers or fruit. At the end of the summer and into the fall, we'll train these primocanes onto the wire. One that will grow up to the 5-foot wire, and the other will train to 3-foot wire. These will then, by their second year, be considered to be floricanes because they will flower and produce fruit. So we come through and prune out these vegetative primocanes twice in April, twice in May, and then once in June. So we're actually in the middle of our second pruning of our primocanes for this April. And what you'll want to do is come down to the bottom of the plant and cut them as far down to the ground as you can. Anytime you're pruning blackberries, you're going to want to use at least a 10% bleach spray on your snips. So anytime prior to pruning, you'll spray each side of your snips, kind of bring them out, go through and prune. Anytime your snips touch the ground, or if you're moving from plant to plant, you're going to want to spray your snips again. And this will sanitize them and just keep you from spreading any disease that you have on one plant to the next. Your last pruning will be in the first 2 weeks of June, where you'll take out your vegetative primocanes. After that point, you'll let them grow up like we have here, and these will be trained to the wire to replace your floricanes. The first week of July, your floricanes will have fruited, and that'll be slowing down, and then the canes are actually going to die because it'll be the end of their life cycle. So you're going to cut your green tape that has been holding your plant up and come to the base of the plant and cut them as low as possible, just like you've been pruning out those primocanes. You're going to cut your floricane as far down as possible. At that point, you're going to come through and you're going to tie your primocane to each wire to secure it, and then Once it grows up further, you're going to tie one to the top 5-foot wire, and then your other primocane will grow up to the 3-foot wire. You're going to want to space these about 6 inches apart from each other, and after tying your primocanes to its respective wire, this will start your training process all over again. So the final step will be to top or prune your primocanes above each wire. So once this primocane grows up above your 5-foot wire, and it has about the width of a pencil in diameter, you'll be able to top it about 1.5 inches above the wire. That will signal to the plant that these top 2 to 3 buds will break and grow lateral branches that you'll then train along the wire. So you'll do that for your cane going up to the top 5-foot wire, and then also for the primocane that reaches your 3-foot wire. The last step in pruning your primocanes for your training process would be, once your primocanes each are above the 3-foot wire, you can come through and prune off all of your extra foliage that rests 6 inches and below the wire. By pruning away your extra foliage 6 inches and below the wire, you'll send more nutrients into the plant's height or growing in length along the wire to create your laterals. You'll also avoid extra disease from anything that splashes up with rainwater.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the first edition of Garden Talk. We're looking forward to presenting this new segment to the community as well as our avid readers. For Sydney Hancock, my name is Scott Hardy. See you next time.